Hello, everybody. Welcome to Cinespection for a show that started, 42 minutes late. I'm Gabe. That's John. What's up, John?
Not much, man.
All
We're
good.
yeah. We needed
Listen,
extra time to prepare for the
this is our monster-sized episode. This is gonna
yeah.
be. It's not gonna be too long, but it's monster-sized in like the amount of things we're reviewing. So
Yeah.
the background is we met in person last week on Friday,
Yeah.
and we just started watching movies. All of a sudden, it's 1 a.m. and we're still watching. I think you left like at 1 a.m. So we started we were like, what movie should we watch? And then we started watching one. We were like, we can watch another one, right? And another one. And then
Yeah.
these movies are completely unrelated. Like they're not, like
There's no actual reason that we watched them. Like
No
there's
reason.
Yeah.
They're from completely different decades, and So anyway, we actually watched them in a different order that we're going to review in them. But I thought we'd review Halloween Ends first because we might have a friend drop in. I don't know if she's going to be able to make it, but we might have somebody. So if that's the case, we can just talk about Halloween first. So Halloween Ends, John. It's the third chapter of the trilogy, but it's also the fourth movie in that continuity. So people are saying the end of the trilogy, but it's what is it? Which one is it?
I don't know. It's the end of Halloween. I mean, yeah,
it's the end.
It's an argument over semantics of something that's like so
doesn't matter.
Like all of these things that people are. Let's just get into it. Like the things that people are bitching about are just kind of like,
well,
I mean,
yes. So okay, this happened. This is how I knew the movie was, I believe, good.
Yeah,
to a certain level at least, because we watched New York Ninja. We were just goofing around, we were just laughing. At one point, we missed something. We rewinded it like 5 minutes. Remember?
Yeah.
And then The Raid, I'd seen it and I love it. And then we'll talk about it. But you liked it too. But we talked a lot during The Raid too. We're talking, and I remember Halloween started, and there was a silence for at least the first hour.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden we were like, this is like, there's something different here. Like, it's not like Halloween 47, like all the movies are. This one has a bit of a different tone and a bit of a different ideas and some perspectives. Whether that was good or bad, I don't know, but we were engaged by it, right?
Yeah, it wasn't a typical Halloween movie, which I think is what we both went in expecting, is like some dumb slasher. I mean, you can go back and watch last year's review. Like we weren't very friendly to the last movie.
I think that's the angriest you've ever been. Like,
yeah,
you were really
pissed. I did not like it.
You don't like it at all.
Yeah.
So this one, I mean, everybody's talking about it, but I guess it's still a spoiler because the trailers didn't really delve into what the plot is. So I'll just flag it for spoilers. But I don't want to do John Explains the Plot because let's just go fast through these, right? But essentially, this is not just about Michael Myers. He's not in it very much. It's about like the legacy of evil kind of thing.
Yeah, I think that it's like him. It's more of him like as a spirit. I don't know. Like it's weird. Like he's trying
that's what's kind of sloppy.
Yeah,
because we're having exactly the legacy of evil.
Yeah.
So the plot, involves another guy who is a guy who's had a really crappy luck. He's been really unlucky.
He just like things are always bad for him. Basically, I feel like
things are always bad for him. He's been like, he had a really, really unlucky moment that resulted in just something that changed his life forever. And then this guy's trying to do good, but the world's kind of shitty. There's a lot. What I liked is that they sort of made something that they haven't done ever in a Halloween movie, if I think about it, at least properly. The idea of Haddonfield being this place with a personality, and
and the people there kind of influence the lives of others based on like
their trauma,
small town trauma.
The small town trauma that they just like transmit to certain people. The way they interact with each other is very determined by that. It's a town of bullies.
Yeah,
it's which explains like the Evil Dies Tonight mob in the movie before this one. Well, it doesn't explain because it's still stupid, but it's.
I mean, the mob. I don't know why they. I don't know. This town always mobs, right? Like, I guess it's just small town America, like what they do.
I guess. I mean, at least here. So, yeah. And there's a bit of that. So because of that, the attention is not really for most of the movie, or at least let's say half and half at best is like on Laurie Strode, Michael Myers, and the other half is on Laurie's granddaughter, Andy.
Yeah.
Not Andy, sorry, what's her name? Allison. Allison.
Allison?
Andy is the actress's name. Allison and this guy named Corey, who's the guy who's down on his luck and blah blah blah. Right?
Yes.
I don't think there's a single murder for the first like hour.
No, I think that's what threw us off so much because both of us
Right.
were like intently waiting for a murder to happen.
Yes.
There were some jump scares like at the beginning.
Fake jump scares, yeah. And
I mean, there was the murder of the kid at the very beginning, but it wasn't really a murder. It was like an accidental death.
Accidental death, and it goes to character. So I think a big part of the problem with these slasher movies, like any slasher movie, like except for maybe the first in the series for Nightmare on Elm Street and this one, is that you gotta have people to kill to move the plot forward. But there's also like a number of main characters that you don't want to kill in the beginning, so you might kill them in the end, and they sort of like jump back and forth from that point. So what?
But at this point, they killed all the other characters from the early movies, right?
They're done, yeah. But also,
so they had to bring in like her granddaughter as the only like
consistent person, yeah. But also like everybody that gets killed when the murders start happening, because they do start happening, they're all like people that have been set up. Like the bullies.
Yeah, the entire first hour is spent showing you like why he's going to murder all of these people.
Right.
Exactly. And then he goes and murders all of those people.
So everybody that's like there's a scene in the first Scream, as great as that movie is, I'm not crapping on Scream, but like there's a scene where he kills the killer kills the principal, and there's no reason for it. Like they just I think they added a little scene where he sort of like was a dick.
Yeah, they tried to give it like a one-line fix or something.
One-line thing, but that was added in post because people were like, "Oh, it's like an hour, like a part of the movie, like an hour inside the movie, there were no kills." So people were like, "Why aren't there any kills?" So they're like, "Oh, we're just gonna kill the principal." So and they do, and it's like an uncompelling death for a character you don't care about.
Yeah.
Here they take their time, which I appreciated.
I think that building it up and making you understand why he was so easily like succumb to the evil part, right?
Yeah.
Like that's what they're doing in the first hour is they're like building up this, like, why was he able to be like changed so quickly? Because it happens like in that cave in like a minute, right? Like he just grabs his face and then it's like there.
Let's talk about that because that's when you and I were like, okay, this is dumb. Because before that, we were both like, we're in.
Yeah.
But then at the cave, there's like a moment where it feels like Michael Myers like passes the evil over to.
But then he doesn't. Like that's the thing that I don't understand.
Well, Michael Myers is still evil, so it's not like a baton,
Yeah,
it's like
I guess.
But
then like Michael Myers keeps getting more powerful as he kills people.
That's also incredibly stupid.
Yeah.
Because a friend of mine was telling me, hey, it's kind of stupid that Laurie, this like 70-year-old woman, is able to outmaneuver Michael in a fight. Yeah. But also Michael is also 70 years old. And that's kind of like the point of the film. Like they're both old. The fight is more of outsmarting than outpowering. Because of course he's going to outpower her. He did in the original movie.
Yeah, this is really a requel, in my opinion. Like it's a start of another series, like with the new Mike Myers, which will be Corey or whatever.
I would hope you're wrong, but I mean, but Corey's dead. I mean,
so was Michael in the first movie. I mean,
I guess he was shot. Yeah, you're right. He was shot pretty bad. Yeah, and we talked about this too. Like, I feel like after rewatching the first Halloween, without like, you gotta make a conscious effort. I would really recommend people do this. Make a conscious effort of only watching Halloween as a standalone movie about, just the guy who kills people on Halloween. Yeah. Try to forget about the Laurie Strode is his sister, and there's going to be the next movie where he's going to do this, and just look at it as like one movie. It's like a very John Carpenter, simple plot, A to B movie. right? It doesn't really like
Yeah, 90-minute
90
King of
minutes.
90-minute perfect. Yeah.
He's
I knew
just
you
like
were.
they set
The
up the
reason I'm
villain.
laughing is I knew that you were going to take it to like a John Carpenter praise
That's
fest here.
I know.
Like,
Well, that's
I knew
my
it was
thing.
coming.
So, but the point I was trying to make, yeah, that's true. I am talking about John Carpenter too much recently, but the point I was trying to make was that they don't. Halloween didn't need sequels. Like the point of the end is like the end of the thing. Also, John Carpenter.
Yeah.
Like it just ends ambiguously, intentionally, right? So you want to know, like, did Kurt Russell survive? Like, it doesn't matter. The movie's done. This is what the story ends.
I mean, very
Think about the rest.
few modern directors do that, though, right? Like, very
few. Well, yeah, because if they do, it's because they want to make the sequel.
Yeah.
Right.
Well, it's because that, or the studio wants a sequel or whatever.
Right.
There's lots of pressure for sequels.
Well, these days, yeah, at least with the big movies.
I mean, they're making
Horror.
5 Avatar movies.
Right. Horror for sure.
Horror is just recycled.
Famous.
But that's why, okay, so in like our last little closeout here, I didn't think it was a bad movie. If you want to talk about a bad movie, go look at our review of the last one. And I just like bombed it the entire time. This actually, while it does have some cheesy parts, it does kind of jump the shark where he's in, where he gets powerful when he kills people, or whether the cave scene, which doesn't really make much sense, that he's like hiding in a cave until he kills enough people. Like, that's what I feel it's like. He's like a golem and he has to kill enough people to be able to be powerful enough to go back out and kill on Halloween.
Well, that's what they've done several times. Like they did in Halloween 6 too. Like we got to find some sort of reason why he's doing this.
Yeah.
Right. Halloween 6 was like he had a curse where he had to kill his entire family or something. Like they just got to come up with something.
Yeah.
Right. They got to come up with a reason for him to continue killing people, and that's again the beauty of the first one, which is just like a guy who kills a girl who goes to his house where he's hiding, and he's just like, oh, I guess I'm gonna kill her. Like there's nothing else there. There's nothing, in the first movie at least, there. And the concept of the first movie was also like it ends like Michael's shot and then he's not there, right?
Yeah.
And then the concept is like then the shots of the town, random shots of the town, and it's like, well, Michael could be anywhere because evil could be anywhere, and then it just ends. So you're like, okay, I get it, like he could be anywhere, but people interpret that to mean like, oh, he's on the move for the one.
Yeah,
right. Which is why they keep doing sequels to this. So within the 27,000 sequels, I think this is one of the best ones, probably the second best in my opinion. After Halloween 3, that doesn't feature Michael Myers, the rest I find pretty interchangeable.
Yeah, I would agree with you. That's what I'm not angry about it. So that says a lot, actually.
That says a lot. I mean, we shouldn't be angry about it. It's kind of funny because a lot of people is like, oh, the legacy, 40-year legacy of Halloween was messed up by this movie. It's like, what legacy? This series has been rebooted like 4 times. Laurie Strode has died 3 times in the Halloween saga. 3 times. Like twice with Jamie Lee Curtis. One of the Jamie Lee Curtis ones was off screen. And then Jamie Lee Curtis actually died in Halloween 8. And then in the reboot, like Laurie also dies with Michael Myers and Loomis. Like it's just like there's no like legacy of the Halloween movies. The Halloween movies are just like a whole bunch of nonsense.
No, they just it's like what will happen if comic book movies keep up the way that they are. So
right. So this person, Derpy Gaming, saying it ended in 1981. Well, that's when the second one came out, right? I think so.
Yeah.
I don't like the second one very much. I think it's fine, but it's not the best one. This one's better. So there you go. Let's move on, John, because it's been 14 minutes and we have not that much interested with this one. Let's talk about New York Ninja. John, instead of explaining the plot, do you remember like the path to New York Ninja, like how we got there?
No, you want to? I mean, I remember that we were like, okay, let's watch a movie, and then
not you and me. I meant like they found the reel and.
Oh yeah. So basically, there were these reels that were left on the cutting room floor, and they were of a movie called New York Ninja, and that's about all we know. There were like 5 or 6 reels, which are about 20 minutes each, and they had no clue what the people were saying. They had no script. And
no audio
at all. So yeah, this is just a film with no audio or anything that was remade and very well remastered. Very, very well remastered.
For amazing remaster.
A couple years ago, right?
I think it was like during COVID or something like that. It came out 2021, something like that. Yeah, so it's a movie made out of like 80s reels, fighting movie, right? You can imagine with a name, B movie, 1000% B movie.
Oh
a whole bunch of
yeah.
bad actors, bad
this is up there
special effects.
with not as good as Samurai Cop, because Samurai Cop sets like a whole bar for me in like awesomely bad.
Yeah.
This is like a notch below, but that's only because it was like professionally remade with voice actors, with like real editing, and actually made by like a real studio, right?
And a guy that understands pacing and like camera exposure and color correction, and like a guy understands that, as opposed to the Samurai Cop people that had no idea what those things were. Continuity, like, you know, they 180-degree line, like stuff like that. Like they, you know, Samurai Cop has no idea what that is about. This one, a guy came in and knew that, and he worked with what he had, and the movie looks pretty good.
Yeah.
It's still an awesomely bad B movie.
Yeah, it's an awesomely bad movie, 100%. But it's a pretty good, awesomely bad movie. I mean, I don't know the exact plot. I remember like his girlfriend or wife who's pregnant gets killed.
Wife tells him I'm pregnant, and then she goes
and
to the
then she gets killed in the next
she's killed
second.
right there for no reason.
Because punks have taken over the city.
Yes, a whole bunch of punks from like seemingly unrelated bands.
But they're always the same 5 punks.
Yes.
So like supposedly the city has been overrun by gangs, but there's the same 5 punks, and he'll kill those punks like over and over and over again.
Yes, he doesn't kill them. He just beats them, and they come back. Right?
Mm-hmm.
He's like, and New York Ninja, yeah, he's like a guy getting revenge, but at the same time, he's like making jokes about, he's kind of like playing a superhero, so his friends don't know. I guess his friends, you never really know how he knows these people.
I think that he's a reporter, or he's with a reporter.
He's like the cameraman, right?
They don't really explain that, but I mean that's whatever. This movie's perfect without explanation.
Yeah, it was really entertaining. Like I think both of us liked it a lot. It was entertaining. There were some really good laughs, especially I think for us the peak, or at least for me, I think you would agree, but the skateboard, the rollerblade scene.
Oh my god, I've never seen
roller skates.
Yeah, roller skates. Like, didn't even get roller blades. We got roller skates, like old school 1980s roller skates, like from a roller rink. Yeah, that was pretty hilarious. And he's doing kung fu, just like kicking ass and roller skating.
Yeah, chasing people with them. Also, the eggs. He throws powdered eggs at people. Well, not powdered eggs, I guess. How do you say
it? It's an egg shell with a powder in it. And like, it's obvious that somebody just like hollowed out an egg, put some like flour in it, and then that's what he chucks at people.
And then he has like a really small sword and a big one, but he mostly uses a small one.
Yeah, he almost always uses a small sword. No 2 people fought at the same time. So like, it was like he was taking on 6 people, but each person would take their turn.
And they only use wide shots, so you see it every time.
So one thing that we commented on while watching it was it felt like you were playing like an old Nintendo fighting game. Like if you ever played Ninja Turtles at the arcade or on Super Nintendo or whatever, that's how a lot of the movie or the fight scenes looked, especially the roller skating one.
Right. Yeah. There's also like a big helicopter scene where he like gets a bomb out of nowhere, right? And blows up the helicopter. There's like that scene where he like, so I mean, this is the funniest part, I think. When his wife is killed, it was his birthday. So he gets home for his birthday party, but there's no one there because she's dead.
But I don't know if it was his birthday or not, because he was like, no, I guess it was his birthday because she had the present for him.
He got the swords from her, right?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
From
that
her,
was his birthday present. So
That
she
was-
knew she was gonna die and got him swords
So either
for his birthday.
she like left the setup for his outdoor birthday party, went to see him, got killed, and never came back for the party, and then nobody arrived. Or he set up his own birthday party to be sad and trash it. I don't know what's going on.
And then like his friend kind of like hits on him as he's like trashing his own birthday party, which is that was a little weird. I mean, it was weird.
I know it was very weird, and then
But very good.
Yeah, very entertaining. Definitely would recommend it. It was produced by Vinegar Syndrome, who do a lot of great work with B movies and all the 80s movies.
Mhm.
I'll definitely buy more of their films. Hopefully, John, maybe next time you come, we'll watch another one. I'll get another one. But very recommended. Congratulations to the people that did it. I mean, I think it took them 2 years to get it done. So, really great for them. We've said the funniest bits, but honestly, it's something that needs to be seen, I feel.
Yeah. You can't explain how ridiculous those scenes are.
Right. All right, well, let's move on to what is one of my favorite movies, which is The Raid. It's an Indonesian movie. John, you were just out there, so you were like, "Oh, I want to see a bit of what that's like." I absolutely adore The Raid. I like The Raid 2 even more, which you haven't seen. Eventually, hopefully, you'll see it. But what do you think about it? Because you didn't hear that from me.
It was like you said, it was very John Wick and like esque, and it is in a lot of ways. Like the cinematography and everything has like that dark tone to it. It's good. It's a really good action film. I mean, like it's funny because we went from watching New York Ninja to this. So like New York Ninja is like goofy B action to like this, which is like actually really good, really well directed, really well shot action movie. So yeah, it was good. I want to see the second one for sure.
Yeah, it's even better. Like honestly, it's and this one is like we talked about it when we were watching. It's very raw and very like dirty, and just like the punches just feel like punches, and like people like something that we talked about in the show before. Like when you watch like a Captain America movie, which again we like whatever, but like Captain America's fighting somebody, and at one point he gets like a little drop of blood or something, and that's all they get,
Yeah.
And it could be like a 2-hour fight, but he always has like little drop of blood, And in these movies, like you can see how they're like getting sweatier, getting bloodier. Their clothes are ripped off. Like you can see,
by the end of the movie, they're like barely walking. Like I mean,
barely walking. Yeah, exactly. Like it escalates, so you can feel what the characters are feeling. Even John Wick doesn't do that because John Wick just destroys whatever he sees or touches. Right.
I mean, the last movie he ended up pretty bad.
Yeah, you're right. No, he does end up pretty bad in movies. Yeah. I mean, also in the first one, he fights the bad guy in the end, and they're both like in that dock or whatever.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, that's true. He does end up like a bit more beat. So, I mean, not to.
But this is a really good movie. So the premise is the SWAT team goes in, and they're there to get a mob boss.
The building.
In the building, which is kind of like if you've seen the newer Judge Dredd. That kind of thing where it's like a building in lockdown. I'm trying to think of another movie that has something
Die Hard.
Yeah, Die Hard.
It's sort of like a hostage situation movie, sort of like tons of bad guys looking for very few good guys.
But like this building is like a fortress, and people that live within it are all loyal to like this mob boss. So
but they're all told like you can stay here rent free if you kill the police.
Yeah.
And then everybody's trying to waste them.
Yeah.
And I mean, so it starts with like a lot of shooting, right? A lot of
it opens up pretty
shooting, and then they run out of bullets, and it becomes a fighting fest.
Yeah,
and that's when it gets. I think that's when the movie gets to its best.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, I think that also. When I was watching the first time, I was like, "Oh, that's the like main character," and you're like, "No, watch." And then like that guy ends up dead, right? And then you actually figure out who the main character is, and you're like, "Oh, It's about this other guy the entire time, which I thought was an interesting kind of twist that you didn't know who the exact main character of the movie was until like, I don't know, probably like 30 minutes in or something.
Right, exactly. Yeah, and it's a great choreography, great martial arts movie. I mean, you don't like violent movies and you don't like martial arts, you will struggle with this one. I feel you're not there for the drama. Like the plot is like paper thin, as we just explained. It's not really.
What I explained in the plot is kind of it. There's like spoilers, but there are some things with like two brothers and one's good, one's bad, and there are some like depth to the plot a little bit here and there, but other than like what I said, though, it's a SWAT team going in to take out this guy and the building's a fortress. There's not much else. Like everybody is loyal to that one guy. Nobody really helps them. I mean, not really.
Well, there's one guy that helps them.
One
guy. And a lot of people die, and most of the characters, it's just violent shit. Like, I like how like the bad guy, the main bad guy in this movie, is introduced by a scene where he's just like killing guys one by one, like on a line. Yeah. And then at one point he runs out of bullets to kill a guy. So he like walks back.
Well, he sets the gun on his arm.
The empty gun, and he's like, "I'll be right back." And then he goes, and instead of grabbing bullets, he grabs a hammer.
Yeah. Well, he opens the drawer, and out slides a hammer and also bullets.
Yeah.
And so then he picks up the hammer, and then he like bashes the guy's head. And so like he could have taken the nice way, but like that's not who this guy is. And they make that very, upfront, which is cool. Very clear. It is, like you said, it's a John Wick-esque movie. And I don't want to confuse anybody thinking it's that same movie. It's like, it doesn't.
It's the way the action is shot.
It's very well shot. It has awesome choreography. It's hyper violent. Like it is like, if you have a problem with violence, then this movie's not for you. And it gets very, very violent.
Fearless.
Yeah. But that's the type of movie it is. It has a beginning, middle, end, and like there's nothing more. I guess there's more in the Raid 2, just kind of like John Wick 2. But like even those plots are generally like pretty thin, just to give you a reason for this action to occur.
Right. Yeah, and then the sequel, like they expand the world. I was telling you, it's a more complex like criminal ring, and there's more characters, and there's different people fighting, and it's way more complex. So we'll talk about 2 eventually, I guess. But yeah, I mean, it's a great movie. For those who haven't seen it, if you enjoy like gritty action, like I do think it's a must watch. Like
I'm really glad we watched it, because we were debating on watching it. So we actually, originally the idea was we were just going to watch New York Ninja, and we knew that was like 90 minutes or whatever. And then we were like, oh, we'll watch the second movie after that, or we'll go to the movies. We hadn't decided. So the idea was either Halloween or The Raid. And I was like, I'll watch The Raid. Like I didn't really care about Halloween given last year's review. So we watched The Raid, and then we were like, oh, well, let's just watch Halloween. But yeah, this was my choice over Halloween originally. So I do 100% recommend it.
So if you were to only, because it seems like we like all 3 to different extents, but if you were to recommend only one of these 3 movies, what would you recommend?
If you had a choice between these 3, The Raid definitely is the best out of the 3. New York Ninja, so like my ranking, if we were going to rank these, it'd be The Raid, New York Ninja, Halloween. Halloween is just kind of like, thank God it's finally over for me, like.
Yeah, and also I think it's admirable for them to try something new. Like they didn't go with
they didn't go with the same route.
Yeah, teenagers want to see people get killed, and we're just going to do that. Like they didn't do that. They were just like, hey, why don't we do something?
I think
different?
Only like 5 people died.
Right, exactly. No, people died
for a Halloween movie, to be honest. Like,
the kills were not that creative. I think they came in really late. Like, if teenagers are like 14 and you're on, it's like, oh, let's go watch the Halloween.
I don't even think it would scare a jump. There weren't even enough jump scares like where there was violence. Like, there were a bunch of fake jump scares, but there's no actual like jump scare where there was violence.
Oh, no, there's not, and it's clever. Some things are weird. I'd love to hear the director talk about them. You know.
What would you rank them? Same.
Oh, the same as you. I
Yeah.
mean, it just the Raid to me is another level. Like I would say, the Raid is one of my favorite movies.
Yeah.
My favorite action movies. Like it's just really, really good. I love the Raid. New York Ninja was what I was expecting, but in a really good way. I think it was good that we watched it together. I feel like if you watch New York Ninja alone, you know, in your house, like you might get a bit bored.
I don't think that's an alone movie. I should put that
Right.
disclaimer. You have to watch that with people because you're gonna laugh and make fun of it the entire. It's one
And
of
have
those
some
movies that you have to
drinks.
watch with a group of friends to make fun of.
Yeah, make fun of, have some drinks, like just
Yeah.
enjoy it. Because if it's just like a movie, yeah, you'll be like, whatever, right?
You
yeah.
get bored and sit on your phone. Yeah.
You'll get bored and look at your phone. Yeah. And then Halloween ends. You know, we already said enough. But go watch them. I mean, if you do the same marathon, let us know. That'd be funny. But I don't think so. You can't. I don't think you can get New York Ninja unless it's like a Blu-ray.
It's on Showtime.
Oh, really? Huh.
That's what this is saying.
Yeah. There you go.
So.
Yeah. So John, like and subscribe to the Painted Lines or Cinespection. We're here every week. We kept it at half an hour for 3 movies. Look at us, John.
I mean, we're doing new things.
We're doing new things. I mean, we could have done more, but why? What's the need? I think this gave you the idea of what we're going to talk about. So there you go. Hit us up on Twitter, and we will see you next week. Goodbye.